This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the new president and CEO of Aztec Minerals, Mr. Simon Dyakowski. Simon, how are you today?
Hey, doing well, Gerardo. Thanks for having me on.
Congrats on the new, as the company likes to describe itself, addition to the Elephant Hunters group, right? You pride yourself on being explorers, and in fairness to Aztec and the team there, you've already made a significant discovery, and we'll talk about that in the future because I don't think it's priced into the stock yet. We'll get into that a bit later. But before we get into that, can you talk a bit about your background and why Aztec Minerals, why you decided to step up and kind of, take the reins here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, my background has been in the capital markets. I started my career at Salman Partners and Lead Financial. I was a equity research associate, and I worked as a stockbroker focusing on junior mining. My career later took me through a stint in investment banking where I worked on kind of larger cap names, and I've come full circle back to junior mining over the last 3 years. I've been an advisor to a number of junior exploration companies, and my expertise has been in helping them market, helping them raise money, and strategically plan to navigate, the complexities of the mining capital markets, specifically on the junior exploration side of the ledger. So, I'm very pleased and excited to be joining Aztec. I've been working with them as a consultant for a few months, and it's an excellent opportunity for me to work with some really, renowned members of the board. Specifically, Brad Cook is the chairman. He's the CEO of Endeavour Silver. He's largest shareholder, chairman. Joey Wilkins, past president. He's the VPX and chief geo now. He's a great guy to work with. He is responsible for the discovery that Aztec did actually make in 2018. And as well as for securing the Tombstone project, which is what we're about to be drilling over the next few months here into the second half of 2020. And then rounding out the board, there's Mark Robliatti, renowned geologist who's been inducted in the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame, and Pat Veris, who's been associated with a couple of very large M&A mining exits over the past decade. So, really fortunate to be working with these guys. And, also with the company in general, it's an extremely well-structured company with, two fantastic assets in mining-friendly jurisdictions and, a really good capital structure with only, now we have 52 million shares out, and we're, well into the drill phase on both projects.
The team is top notch. The first two things I look at when deciding whether I want to be involved with a company or be a shareholder of a company, the team, number one, and the share structure, right? The structure, you should be commended, and then the team there should be commended on, one, how tightly held it is, two, how much skin in the game insiders have, and three, you IPO'd, I believe, about 3 years ago. And so for you to have as tight a share structure, given the brutal nature of the bear market we just came out of, I think speaks to how you view shareholders. So kudos to you all on that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, and that really is key on junior exploration companies, is to carefully manage that. Obviously, typically these aren't cash flowing enterprises, so you do have to dilute, but you have to do it strategically and at the right time to support your corporate development goals. So obviously the group that took this company public and has been managing it has done a really, really good job of doing that. And just on that point, we just did complete a financing to get us through the next bit of work on our specifically on our Tombstone project, but we put $3 million in the till at a price of 30 cents with a half warrant at 40. So we have about $3 million in the kitty right now. Our market cap as of yesterday was at around 23 million Canadian. So, we're really in a good spot here to, provide new investors, hopefully with an opportunity to participate, if we're successful in the next stages of development of our two projects here.
Speaking of being in a good spot, you mentioned Tombstone. You have two assets that are extremely, extremely attractive from an exploration perspective. Tombstone seems to be the first up and the next in line to see the drill bit. Can we talk about Tombstone a bit?
Sure, yeah. So Tombstone is next up in terms of exploration. So Aztec has an option agreement in place to acquire a 75% interest in Tombstone. And after we've wrapped up our next round of drilling, we should be there. So there's a small work commitment of around 700,000 Canadian left to vest that 75% interest. So we're looking to take care of that this fall. And, we do expect to start drilling there over the next few days, hopefully. And just a bit of background on Tombstone. Tombstone is a past-producing silver district. It's located in southeastern Arizona. It's actually the site of the shootout at the OK Corral, for those who are familiar with Western lore. But many people are familiar with that. But effectively, it is a mining town. Between 1870 and 1930, there was over 30 million ounces of silver mined out of small mines in the Tombstone Silver District. And more recently, in the 1980s, there was an open pit heap leach operation operated on the patented claims to which Aztec is earning an interest in the Tombstone project. So we're looking forward to starting a reverse circulation drill program over the next few days, as I mentioned, and that is to test some structures along that open pit. It's called the contention open pit, to test to see if there's additional mineralization there. Then later this fall, we hope to drill some deeper holes, some core holes, and test underneath that open pit where there's potential for CRD mineralization. So that's a subsequent phase of our first drill program at Tombstone, and we do look forward to commencing that a bit later in the year. And that represents another unique target. So with the reverse circulation drilling, we'll be targeting near surface epithermal silver and gold mineralization. And with the deeper drilling later this year, we'll be targeting CRD, which is a polymetallic mineralization. And the discovery model that we'll be using there is known as it will be modeled after the Taylor deposit, which lies about 60 miles to the southwest of us. And that's a famous discovery that was made about 5 years ago in 2015 by a company called Arizona Mining. They themselves drilled under a past-producing historic silver district and made a fantastic discovery of what is now to be over 100 million tons of zinc equivalent. And it was bought out actually after Arizona developed it over the 2015 to 2018 period. They attracted an investment from South 32 Mining, and they were bought out at a $1.8 billion valuation back in June of 2018. So anyways, that's another target style that we have at Tombstone, and we're looking forward to testing that later this fall as well.
You mentioned Arizona Mining. It's a heck of an analog. And for those that aren't familiar, those shares, I believe, went from right around the 25 cent level to, I think, $6.25 per share post-acquisition back in 2018. Is that about right, Simon?
Yeah, from January 2015, traded around 25 exactly up to 625. So those shareholders got a 25x return over that time period.
Not a bad run. You also have another project that I really like, the Cervantes project in Sonora, Mexico. Can you speak to that? Because you've had some really good success there as well.
Yeah, so this is the project that initially attracted me to Aztec. So I just couldn't believe that this company was trading at such a low valuation after having made a gold discovery in 2018. So Cervantes is located in Sonora, Mexico, in northern Mexico, in what's considered to be a favorable mining jurisdiction in Mexico. There are a number of heap leach gold mines in operation in that area, and so this is the project that Aztec went public on. They went public on an auction to acquire a 65% interest in the Cervantes project. It's about 3,600 hectares. It's well located, good infrastructure in the area. And the deal was structured as a an option to acquire 65% from Kootenay Silver. And in 2018, Aztec embarked on an initial drill program there where they actually they targeted what's known as the California target, which was a large geochemical anomaly spanning about 900 meters by 600 meters, which had elevated gold in soil. And they actually successfully made a discovery. Joey Wilkins made a discovery there. Some of the highlights of that discovery from the 14 holes that were drilled into the gold-bearing zone were 160 meters at 0.77 grams per ton gold, including 80 meters at over a gram of gold. So it looks to be an oxide cap to a potentially a gold copper porphyry system, but there seems to be at least a sizable oxide component at surface. And the team at Aztec at the time also went ahead and did some preliminary metallurgical work, and they did find some good gold recoveries, in the 85% range in one of the tests. So, those kind of numbers are there. I think in that part of Mexico are pretty attractive. So I was just really surprised when I was introduced to the story to see that happening, to see that had already happened. So yeah. We're looking forward to, now that we've vested the 65% interest from Kootenay, we're looking forward to finalizing plans for a phase 2 drill program to, infill some of the 14 holes in the California zone, as well as to test some of the other targets. And I should mention that there are a number of other targets at Cervantes. It's a big property, and many of them have not yet been drill tested. So, as we move forward here and wrap up drilling at Tombstone, we'll look to, plan a large phase 2 or a substantial phase 2 program at Cervantes, and to, and restart the cycle of adding value to that property, hopefully.
Simon, you have an excellent team. You have a great share structure, 2 exciting projects, both which apparently will see the attention of the drill bit here soon with Tombstone, and then later on in the year with Cervantes. You have cash in the treasury. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? I know we're going through a small, but what I view as a healthy pullback in gold and silver right now. I think it's somewhat, comical that people are worried about, gold down $100 and we're still at $1,919, right? We're at $1,919 an ounce. So anything else you want to add to that and what we can expect here the rest of the year?
Yeah, look, that's a really good point. You do have to keep this pullback in perspective. We're still $1,900 an ounce. And yeah, and I just highlight that on Tombstone, we'll be moving really quickly to start drilling. And, we've seen a number of other explorers that have put out good drill results in that kind of southwestern United States or Mexico region, putting out, silver and gold numbers have gotten pretty good re-ratings in the market. So, our investors can look forward to, I'd say, pretty robust news flow over the next 4 to 5 months, kicking off with RC drilling at Tombstone, and hopefully we'll be into some results relatively quickly into the fall here. So a lot of touch points for investors to get familiar with the story, and if they choose to participate with us.
Well said, Simon. Thank you so much for your time. We'll chat again soon.
Great. Thanks for your time, Gerardo.